presence of a quorum, I will call the Regional School Committee to order at 6:10. We don't have any remote participants, and I did not receive any public comment. So, Bob and Dave, would you like to come give us an update, please? Thank you both so much for coming and joining us and giving us an update on the track and fields
Good.
project.
Thank you very much. Dave Zomek and Bob Parent here for the town and working collaboratively with the region on the track and field. I was told by the superintendent that we have 7 minutes, so I have to move really quickly. I think we can do it, but no. I do want to just pause for maybe a few seconds and say, wow, it's exciting to see what's happening out there. Drove by earlier today. Bob has been out on the site multiple times every week, and this is what we can do when we all work together. So it's really exciting. I hope the athletes, the coaches, the community are as excited as we are. But we wanted to give a brief update today, take your questions. I'm going to start really with the general and then turn it over to Bob in 1 minute. But weather has really been our friend. Been great to have these dry conditions, moving things forward. Cataldo and SLR as our construction and design team have been excellent. Questions back and forth, adjustments here and there. They've been really super to work with, and Bob's been right there every step of the way, overseeing both the project but also the budget, which I know we all are focused on as well. We've been working closely with the athletic director, also with the facilities manager. As questions have come in, we've had some good back and forth with some of the coaches, and Bob will tell you a little bit about a few adjustments we made on some of the track and field locations. None of them earth-shattering, but making it a better facility for the athletes and the coaches. I bumped into Sarah earlier today, and she asked about conversations between the town and the region. Those are ongoing about maintenance. You know, if we build it, which we are building it, how will we maintain it? And those conversations are ongoing, again, with the facilities team and the athletic director and then the Amherst team. So those are going with those teams, and I imagine the superintendent and the town manager will weigh in on those when we get a little further along. So that's going very well. Bob's going to talk a little bit about opportunities we have. The budget is, as I said, the project is on schedule, on budget. We believe we have a few opportunities with the contingency to make the project even better. We talked about these possibilities months and months ago. We think we're there. We think there's an opportunity to sod the western field and also install irrigation on the western field, which has some real advantages both in terms of how quickly we could get that field online for athletes to use in the spring, but also potentially to save money for the region in the future with irrigation and water costs. We're also, Bob can tell us a little bit about the staircase. We believe we really do need to do that staircase, number 16 on the map and on your handout. That staircase needs to be redone, and we think we have the budget to do that. So let me turn it over to Bob, and then we'll open it up to questions, all within 7 minutes.
So, just to reinforce what Dave said, we have a great team we're working with. SLR as our designer, Cataldo as the contractor. Everybody that's been dealing with Cataldo, SLR has built a lot more of these facilities than I have. They're very impressed with the relationship and also the feedback with his areas for improvement. Cataldo's been very willing to come forward and say, you know, we think we have a better idea about how to do this, and it's been a good collaborative effort. It's also telling that Alan Snow, who lives across the street, you know, at the Trees and Grounds Department, is watching this, and he said these guys really know what they're doing. So he's been very impressed by the activity to date. I'll just give you one example. I won't get into all of them, but where Cataldo came forward at a no-cost proposal to say we can make this thing better. Our original design on the turf field inside of the track, as a cost savings measure, instead of putting in hard drainage piping, we were putting in sand wicks through the sod. Basically, little sand drains would get punched down so that the the surface water would drain through the sod material down into the underlying material. Cataldo looked at it and said, you know, we really think, and they have a turf consultant and agronomist that they work with, that it would be better to come in with a drainage system. And they said, for no additional cost, we recommend you go in and you install a fairly conventional herringbone type drainage system with 2-inch perforated pipe all the way through the field. SLR said, you know, that's what they had originally had in mind for the design, but we didn't think we had the budget to be able to do that, so they came up with a solution that they thought was more cost-effective, but perhaps in the long term, not as good of a solution. So that's just one example where working together at no cost to the district or to the project, we're working to make the project better. Dave mentioned a couple of suggestions that came from the coaches, and as happens all the time, you know, once things get closer and closer, people look at things a little bit closer and say, wouldn't it be good if we did this, or wouldn't it be good if we did that? And 2 items that had been long identified to be located on the second field, the javelin throwing location and the discus location, was identified as a concern of how can we use that field at the same time and as those activities are happening. So we went back and working with SLR and the coaches, we identified that the discus throwing location could actually be put to the north side of the track, kind of partly off the paper here, but where you see, I think it's number 10 up to the top, set up just to the north of the track location where they can throw up to the northeast. That was effectively lawn area. We can relocate that such that the west field won't be impacted at all by the discus throwing. And then there was a request of, could we relocate the javelin throwing location south of the new field so that the runway for the javelin would be across the new track and the D zone of the new track. So the javelin will get thrown into the field location during a track and field event, and the runners or the athletes will run across the finished surface and throw onto the grass. And that was preferred by the coach versus having them throw, basically taking that west field completely out of operation whenever there was a track and field activity going on. So just a couple of, you know, I'm not a track and field expert, so we defer to the coaches to say, this is what works for us and what works best. Regarding schedule, the project is on schedule. The contract requirements for this job is to have the project substantially complete by the middle of October and final completion by the end of October. Really the key milestone for this entire project is putting down the surfacing on the track, because there's only a couple of companies that do that and their schedule is very busy. So this project has been in the company that's going to do it for this project is a company called Craft Co. They've had on their schedule September 22nd as the go date for starting the urethane surfacing. Everything leads up to that. All the recontouring leads up to that, all the asphalt work, the base course of asphalt, which you can see is out there right now, is the first step. The top course goes after that, and then the urethane goes on, and the urethane has to cure before the lines can be put on top of the urethane. So it's a step-by-step process that everything so it has to be done in the right order. Another example of that is the lighting towers. You can see if you go out there now that the precast concrete light pole bases have all been set in place, anchored in concrete. That concrete has to cure, so those bases are going to sit there for close to a month while the concrete cures before the 80-foot high towers can be installed on top of the light bases. What else key to mention? The water main to feed the irrigation system was finished today on Mattoon Street. So Mattoon Street was opened up yesterday. We found an unknown gas line. We called up Berkshire Gas in the afternoon and said, you know, there's tape here, we found this thing, it's relatively new, it's not an old gas line. And they came out and said, we had no idea it was here. But it all went well because the contractor worked carefully, saw the warning tape, stopped, and then hand excavated as they needed to once they got got to the gas main. So that all went well, and as I said, we're out of Mattoon Street, buses are gonna be going tomorrow, pavement is patched, we're good to go there. You know, Dave talked about the concept of sodding, and it's really our intent because we believe we have the budget to do that, sodding the west field, and not only from a playability standpoint, the west field will be playable if we put down sod by next spring. If we plant grass seed, you know, we have to go through a full growing season, and if we get good growing conditions, it might be ready for next summer. But depending on growing conditions, you really want to stay off a grass-seeded field as long as you possibly can. Whereas the natural turf field, you know, effectively, once you get the sod installed and irrigated and get it all working, you can almost start playing immediately on that. Dave mentioned reduced operating costs. You know, if you see what is done right now, because there's no reliable irrigation system in place, the DPW uses water cannons. And water cannons spraying on a 90-degree day at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, an awful lot of that water never hits the ground. Yet the cost of that water is still incurred. So by being able to put an irrigation system in that irrigates the fields at the right time of day, you end up using much less water and end up having a better product when it's all done. So that's the direction we're playing. Actually, the other thing I wanted to mention was David mentioned where that little circle number 16 is. If you come down off of the high school parking lot, you'll walk down a set of stairs, old timber stairs that had probably been installed 20 or 30 or more years ago, possibly by Dave's dad. We don't really know how they came into being, but you know, they're long past their useful life. And that's really going to be the main entry into the field from the parking lot area. There will be an accessible pathway that leads off the north end but many people will be walking down that stairway. We've asked Cataldo to provide pricing, and they've come back, basically pricing and a design, because having been a consultant for most of my career, consulting costs money. You know, we'd spend $10,000 or $20,000 hiring an engineer to design a cast-in-place concrete solution. We said to Cataldo, have you done something like this before? And they said, yeah, we've done a bunch of these. And what we would recommend is coming in and putting in granite treads. And that way, it's quick to install. You know, the granite's not cheap, but it meets ADA requirements. It can be installed very quickly and efficiently. And they're providing pricing to us to come and basically do that as a sort of a design build type of feature for this project and get that done, because I said, looking at, it's gonna be a beautiful field, and right now you walk down a set of not so beautiful stairs to get to the field. They function, but that's the extent of it. So there was a question regarding schedule. The good news is if we sod both fields, they will definitely be playable for next spring. And we've had a lot of conversations with Victoria. We understand that field availability is a big concern. So our hope is that the sooner we can make 2 high-quality fields available to the athletic department, the better. And by going forward with the sodded option, we believe that that's the case, instead of having to stay off of that west field. We really, you know, the track will be usable late October. The problem with that is everything around the track will still be planted grass seed. You know, so we're really going to encourage the district to try to keep this site closed off until the springtime. So not only do we have a good high-quality sodded field, but we have good restoration of all the areas around the field through the fall into the spring, and finally open it up when it's all ready to be played, as opposed to, you know, potentially impacting areas that are seeded and the grass hasn't yet fully had a chance to grow.
If I could, I know there's questions, just to put an exclamation point on that last point. The dark green areas in the rectangles, those would be sodded. Everything else would be hydroseeded. So there is no way to protect those hydroseeded areas unless we stay off the whole construction site. So that's really what we're advocating for. That's what Victoria knows. And if we can bring 2 fields on, as Bob said, 2 fields online, there's also the opportunity to flex those in the spring of '26. So happy to take your questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. You answered a lot of the questions I was coming in with. I'm also really glad to hear that the intent is to now sod both fields, because that will make a world of difference, especially come the spring. It means we can have fields. I did see hands go up, and I think I saw William, Deb, and Sarah. Was it not your hand, Deb?
I did.
You did. Okay, so we'll just, and Anna. All right, we'll go this way.
They may answer my questions.
Okay, so William.
I heard there was irrigation, so my question would be, are we doing, like, I have a house that we do city water, we pay the city bill, and I also have a house that we dug a well. Is there a possibility for us to have a well? As I know the water table's probably not that high here, and have we looked at that for cost for irrigation?
The system as it's going to be constructed will be connected to the town water system. My understanding is that the district appropriated funding several years ago for groundwater supply that can be converted over. That was what Doug had told me would be a future project, would be to switch it over to a groundwater supply. Where those monies sit in the budget, I don't have any idea, but he had recounted that there had been appropriation several years ago to install a well at this location, so that would be
It just scares
ideal.
me to have irrigation on city water and have to pay that bill.
Yeah, you're paying it now.
But we're not watering all those fields now.
You historically have watered
Okay,
the field inside of the track with a water cannon spraying,
okay.
in less than ideal conditions, so,
Okay.
yeah.
And is there any possibility we could explore a well within this project as they're digging everything up?
That's really up to your facilities manager. That's beyond the scope of this project, beyond the scope of our contractor, but that's up to, the district staff.
Okay,
And as Bob said, it can be converted over. It can be moved over to a well, but to get a well dug and operational by the time we might need to put water on these, if we need to in the fall, I don't think is something in our scope.
okay.
But it's a
Thank
great pathway to explore.
You did, just to clarify, you said the system is being designed for potential future
Correct.
groundwater supply. Perfect.
And it could be a hybrid system as well, you
Yeah.
could potentially, with 2 fields, you could potentially feed one off of a well. There are cross-connection issues that you have to be careful about when you have something tied into a public water system, so you probably couldn't have both systems feeding both fields.
Right.
But you could dedicate one to the other perhaps, and not the other.
And great job, thank you for everything.
Deb.
Yeah, I apologize for being late. So if any of my questions you've already answered, I'll just watch the tape. My questions involve specifically which fields are going to be offline in addition to the 2 that are already there, because that green area looks like it contains, the light green area looks like it contains, that's the area that's going to be seeded, right?
Correct. The light green area around the track and field and around the western field.
So does that include the girls' lacrosse field?
These will be the only 2 fields. There will officially be no other fields here other than these north-south fields when this project is done.
There are fields adjoining this location to the east.
Okay.
The
Behind
swamp,
the school.
the swamp as it is.
The swamp, yeah,
swamp will be
the
there.
snake pit.
Yeah, the snake
Yeah,
pit will
okay.
be there. That'll be there. But there will be nothing north of these fields that'll be usable except for informal play.
Okay. The cost for the project, I came in at the end, but it sounds like the irrigation is an add, but it's still on cost?
We're on budget, under budget, and the contingency is healthy at this point. We are based on the recommendations and the feedback we've gotten from the athletic staff and working with Bob, we'd like to proceed with both fields being sodded and irrigated for the reasons we stated earlier, and do the stairs.
The maintenance, the ongoing maintenance, it sounds like the water use will be less. It's 2 fields, but we're irrigating it rather than using the water cannons.
It certainly should be more efficient. I can't, I'm not, yeah.
Okay.
I can't guarantee it'll be less, but it'll be
The grass
used.
will get more.
Also, it'll be a little apples to oranges.
Okay.
There won't be a direct comparison because the previous system was water cannons sometimes,
Okay.
not, this will be controlled by the district with the athletic director and the facilities director working hand in hand to say, we need to irrigate because we haven't gotten rain for so many weeks or whatever.
And then the last question is, did you already discuss the status of the maintenance agreement?
We're working on that.
We're still working
The
it, okay.
town, we've had at least 2 meetings on that and larger conversations about maintaining all the fields and facilities for the region. So we're working again with the facilities director, DPW staff, and myself. We're all around the table. Shannon has also participated. NIB and other staff from the superintendent's team have all participated. So
Okay,
those are ongoing. We have some draft documents, so we're working.
okay. Because
It's a big conversation.
the spring is already in the existing budget. The FY '26 budget is already set out.
I
Right.
mean, our cost.
The
Yes.
cost that our budget is already set. Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Sarah?
Thank you. This is so exciting. I live very nearby, so I walk by it or drive by it all the time. It's great. So clearly, they haven't had to dip into the contingency maybe at all, but in any case, it seems there's a lot of money left, which is wonderful. But I'm wondering, does this committee need to take a formal vote on adding particular elements to this project? It sounds like you think there's enough money to sod. I assume the track, the field inside the track was already planned to be sodded. So you're recommending that we sod the western field and add stairs, and I forget, anything else?
Irrigate the.
Oh, right,
do
the irrigation for
underground
the western
irrigation, yes.
field, for the western field.
And
So,
drainage as well, yeah.
Drainage.
Yeah.
okay, and the drainage. So I would think that we have to vote on that, but I don't know if we're ready to do that. We don't have any specific numbers or whatever, but maybe I'm wrong. So somebody can answer that. As soon as the track looks finished, and if the fields are sodded, it looks like people are gonna come, they're gonna wanna walk their dogs, or let their dogs run, they're gonna wanna play on it, walk on the track, whatever. So it's not clear to me what the boundaries of the fence are, but we need to make a really Herculean effort, I think, to keep people out of this until the spring. And I don't know whether the fencing is adequate, because I don't understand these black lines. I don't know where it goes. So,
Short answer is, we're talking about that right now, project team, and also with Cataldo. We have anticipated that, so we get
You're
it,
on it,
and
yeah.
we're on that fact. The construction fencing is not coming down anytime soon, so we get it. There's a possibility that it stays up through the spring.
just rent the fencing,
So we're working on that. The first question was about
voting.
whether
the
you
ad-
need to vote.
I can bring that back. If we need to vote, I will let everybody know, and we'll bring it back at our next meeting so we can do that.
So you don't need were you hoping for authorization tonight to go ahead with that, or it's not that urgent, or?
We came into this meeting, I think, understanding that you all had voted on the overall budget for the project, and that there may be some modest changes or adjustments to the project. Bob knows the numbers for those. From a timing standpoint, we don't have a lot of time to come back at future meetings, we need to keep this moving forward to meet the timeline and meet our contractual agreements. So we're moving forward with the understanding that if we brought the project in under budget, we are updating you and hope that you support those expenditures.
Right.
Bob has those numbers. If you would like to hear them, I would defer to Bob.
I'd raise it, it's not a demand on my part, it's a question. I don't know that we do or don't need to vote.
I mean, as long as they're still within the money we have voted and you're not substantially changing the project in any way, I don't think we need to vote. I mean, I am comfortable voting tonight if we need to vote. I am in full support of moving forward with sodding both fields, granite stairs, drainage, and irrigation on the west field, because it was already intended on the track field, right?
Right.
So, if the committee feels like we should vote on this, we can. I don't think we need to, though, because we are still within the scope of the project. Deb?
I move to authorize. Oh, no. I withdraw my
I
motion.
had one little bitty more question, if I can. Does any of this project, well, any of what you're proposing to do with the contingency, specifically the stairs, need permitting, and is that an issue?
It doesn't. We've already spoke with
Okay.
the building commissioner relative to the site plan approval and building code issues. We did have to get a building permit for the lights because they are structures. But he's indicated, no, we're in compliance with the site plan approval and there's no additional building permit required.
Great.
Okay. Anna?
So I would actually like the numbers.
Sure.
So, can you remind us what the contingency was, the amount, and then what the different cost components that we're adding are?
Definitely. So going into this project, we authorized Cataldo, you might recall, we had a series of ad alternates that were bid. We authorized Cataldo to move forward with all of the ad alternates except for the last one, which was the ball netting. It's the netting that could be installed along the north and the south end of the field so that you could play on the turf field and not potentially interfere with activities on the track. The way the alternate was set up was the below-grade structures for that ball netting was included in the base bid. The ball netting is strictly the posts that then fit down into those below-grade supports in the netting itself. So they are authorized to move forward with everything except for that. That is a $35,900 item,
The ball net.
the ball netting for the north and the south end. I'll say that depending where we finish, we may be able to do that. The good news is that can be bought at any time. It could be bought tomorrow, or it could be bought 6 months from now. It doesn't affect the construction schedule in any way. So, no ball netting. We went into this project with a contingency of $358,000 to $358,240. The Cataldo, when we asked them to take a look at the sodding, drainage, and irrigation, went back basically to their bid numbers and worked everything out on a dollar per square foot basis. So this is what the east field cost, and used the same numbers for the west field. They didn't add any additional markup on it. They didn't do anything else. They, as I said, they basically used their bid pricing, so they are pretty straightforward with that. The number that we have from them to do everything, the drainage, irrigation, and sod, is $260,250. We asked them to take a look at effectively a design build for the stairway for the granite steps to match what's there. They'll be just a little bit shorter. What's there right now is 9.5 feet wide. They're going to put in 8-foot wide stairs because it fits the granite materials better than an odd-sized. That has a cost of $50,550. I'll be honest, as a former consultant, the design cost for those stairs would be $10,000 or $20,000 just to hire somebody to put together documents. That would be a big addition. So by the fact that they're willing to use their past experience and use that to basically build a stairway for us, we're saving a pretty good percentage of the cost of the stairs itself. So you do all the math, you take the contingency that we started with, you subtract the numbers I mentioned to you, that still leaves us with $47,439. So we still have some funds in the bank. You know, a little bit of cushion still there.
Did you mention the cost of the irrigation?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that's
included
not
in
in
there.
here.
That was included in
Yeah,
the sub.
we do have two small change orders that we actually haven't put in print yet. For a couple of $1,000s apiece. The southeast corner of the track area was a bit softer than we would like. We're not building a roadway, but we want a firm asphalt base that's going to last a long time. So we asked Cataldo to put in some geotextile fabric to reinforce the soil below the asphalt. That's about $2,000. And then in some discussions with the coaches in terms of the flexibility of how they would use the two run-out sections on the east and the west, there was a desire to be able to put the timing equipment on both the east side and the west side, to give them the ability, depending on demand, so that was a couple of $1,000s to put in the additional electrical conduit and wiring. So we're of that 47,000, couple of $1,000s of that we've spent at this point. But still, again, we still have effectively a little bit over 1% of the appropriation available and uncommitted, even if we go forward with these.
And we could, if all goes well, potentially do the netting at the very end, because that's something that just could be ordered. So we feel very confident in where we are, and that's why we came here to present it tonight.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for coming with all that, all the dollar figures too.
Numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Quick follow-ups there?
Yeah, just, is the time for big surprises behind us now? Like,
Oh, don't say that out loud.
but we're assuming we don't need that contingency, so
I'll nod my
you're
head,
comfortable.
so it'll say
You're,
yes.
you're comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, all the subsurface work is done, except for the irrigation, which I don't think, well, you've done, all the major excavation and exploration is done, yes?
Correct, and all the drainage, there's a number of catch basins, there's a very large infiltration system to handle the stormwater, that's all been installed. And that's where the surprises come up, is in
Yeah.
the below grade, and there were no surprises.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Okay, all right, hold on, wait. Go ahead.
I move to authorize Cataldo to add in the irrigation system for both fields, the sodding of the west field, the granite stairs, and that's it.
Yeah,
I have a quick clarifying question.
Sodding.
It's like irrigation and sod on the west field,
Yeah.
right? Because that was already included in the track field.
Correct.
So it's the add of irrigation and sod on the west field. And irrigation, sod, and drainage on the west field,
yes,
and the granite stairs,
yes.
right? I just want to make sure
Yes.
if we're voting on this,
Yeah.
then you have the right things voted on.
Okay.
Dave
I
looks
guess my
like
only-
maybe no.
Well, no, that's all well and good.
That's okay.
My only question is, putting in Cataldo, I really think this is the superintendent working with
Okay.
with
How about-
town staff. If it's really the superintendent who moves forward, not Cataldo,
A friendly amendment
I
to
just would-
add to the project?
does that make
I
sense?
just withdraw the
Does
whole
it make
motion,
sense?
and then I think we're good.
We're just not voting.
Okay.
Perfect. So motion withdrawn.
Yep.
No need to move forward.
So we continue as we are.
continue as you are. You have
Great,
had
thank you.
our aggressive
Thank you.
nodding blessing, and
Everybody?
thank you very
Sounds
much.
awesome.
We really
Thank you for the
appreciate
good
the
news.
back and forth and your support, and we will continue to keep you posted. And that only took 8 minutes.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave and Bob. I appreciate you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for not only coming and presenting, but also your continued support
Yes,
on this
yes,
project.
yes.
It's
Oh,
very
yeah.
appreciated. Appreciated. All right. Okay. So I have a question for the committee about our next two items. So we have our subcommittee and liaison assignments and our retreat review. I didn't know because one of the things listed under retreat review is the possible creation of another subcommittee. If we wanted to flip those, or if we just wanted to go through subcommittees and liaisons and then go to retreat review. I'm open to suggestions. Deb?
Did you vote the consent agenda? Because I thought the liaisons and subcommittees were under the consent agenda.
Nope,
Oh, you
those are
didn't.
reports,
But there's no reports.
but there's no reports added.
Okay.
There's no voting.
So our next new and continuing business is the subcommittee and liaison assignments, because that's part of
Yep.
first for this new school year meeting. Are there any feelings about flipping them?
Flip 'em.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Officially flipped. Okay, so for our retreat review discussions and next steps. So I wanted to start by saying thank you for everyone for coming. I know we had a lot of big, hard discussions, and I am very appreciative of everyone participating so wholeheartedly. And, you know, I think my experience of this committee is this version of the committee is working really well together. And I see potential for us to be, like, I want to recognize all of the work we've already done and, right, that we have space to grow. And so I received a lot of feedback from a lot of individual people, so I want to say thank you for all of that. And, you know, recognize the hard conversations that we did have, and also that in order for us to, you know, move forward to our next step, we're gonna have to continue having the hard discussions, so it's gonna be uncomfortable, but that's okay, because we can do that, and we're grown-ups, and we know how to have hard discussions and move forward. So that is my big way to say thank you for everyone for all of your participation. So I have attached the presentation that Tracy Novak, oh, and yes, and thank you so much for Tracy Novak from MASC for coming and, you know, doing the whole workshop with us and sharing all of her insight and information. Okay. I have attached the two items that Tracy shared with me after our retreat. One is her presentation that she came and presented to us. And the second was the worksheet we all completed together. Which was where we had all of our hard conversations. So one of the things, so from the retreat, there were a couple of things I think we needed to talk about right away, right? So, for example, our agenda looks a lot different than it has in previous iterations, right? We learned that our updates are probably not how we should be doing them. We'll need to work together to come up with a new way to make sure everybody stays informed and feels like they have the information that they need to, you know, make our best decisions moving forward. There's also been the creation of a consent agenda, which was one of the suggestions that came out. So it is where we will have our minutes, which thank you so much to Tim for having written, I don't know, all of the minutes for the last very long time, and I really appreciate not doing them anymore. So thank you so much for that. And they really are great minutes. And it's also where our donations and our warrants will go. I do have under there reports from liaisons and subcommittees, because I do think having our subcommittees and our liaisons share the information that they've liaised or subcommitteed about is important for everyone else to know. But one of the suggestions I heard from the retreat and the takeaway was to make sure that they're written and so they can be attached, right? Rather than us spouting off all of the things we're trying to remember that we've done, right? So I would like to have a conversation about how we can do that, most productively moving forward. And I'm also hopeful that this new concise agenda will help us be more efficient with our time and our evenings and our work together. So, yes. One of the things I wanted to suggest also coming out of that, I would, like to propose the creation of a subcommittee to work on creating our protocols that we, all worked with together, and being able to, continue the work that we started at the retreat, and moving forward with that. Several people have also mentioned about having another retreat. So, when we're talking about future agenda planning, I know that the Amherst committee, all of your seats turn over, right, for the first of the year. So maybe we could plan on having another retreat in January when those seats have potential different people in them, right? Not that I want any of you to leave, just those are how seats work. Okay, I think that is all of it. Were there anything else anyone would like to share from our retreat? Sarah?
That, I got a lot out of the retreat. I think it was time very well spent. About a couple points, about the consent agenda, I think those should only, that should only include items that we would vote on. And we don't vote on, we never have voted on, like, member reports or,
Okay.
so I still don't know where those go unless there's just like information attached, like there's just documents for information and we don't ever talk about them. So one question about a subcommittee or ad hoc committee, whatever, to work on protocols, that's great. I would just note that the Amherst School Committee was also called to order for that retreat. So, like, is that a separate process? Are we going to assume we're doing for both, or just something to think about? But then I wonder, I feel like we ought to, that maybe we need to have a decision either to change or not to change about the written public comment, because that really, that threw me, that statement from Tracy that you don't append written comment, that's not a thing. And I feel like that's most definitely, that's something these committees do in fact want to do. So I just wonder if we need advice about that. We just want to ignore her, what she had to say about it.
So
Because we could have had written,
we didn't receive any.
right, but you never know. And we still invite it, so.
My personal feeling is if we want to have our policy subcommittee look at the policy around public comment, I think that's probably where that should start. I think yep. Anything else? Deb?
The terminology throws me a little bit. So protocols norms and standing orders. Standing orders is what I found in Robert's Rules of Order. So how those three relate to each other, I think, or if they're just separate terms for the same thing, I would appreciate some clarity from the subcommittee on how those pieces fit together, because I go to Robert's rules to interpret them. So what the them is, whatever is in that box that they call standing orders, I'd like to know if that's what they're putting forward. I didn't say that right.
Okay. Okay, good, because I'm feeling confused by your question, so try me again.
Whatever the subcommittee brings forward to us, what are we going to call it? And how does that align, excuse me, with Robert's Rules of Order? Is that better?
Yes, thank you. Okay. So is there support for creating a subcommittee to look at operating protocols? It looks like yes. Are there any volunteers? Tim, I would like to work on it also. I started some work on it. Tim, Sarah, great. Super. Okay. Again, thank you everyone for all of your, hard work and all those hard discussions we had and how to move forward. Oh, yep, Dr. Z.
So I was looking at board docs because I know in the retreat we talked about possibly posting like a bulletin board and stuff. And so after we met, I looked at board docs. There's actually in the library where there says subcommittees, and under subcommittees, there's like postings there from past subcommittees from like 2021, 2022, whether it's their agendas, their minutes, and policies for each of the different subcommittees, 2018, 2019. So I mean, it looks like a practice was in place before, and maybe as this subcommittee comes up, I know Sarah, your question about the consent agenda, but also if we could start using some of the aspects of board docs that were in practice to engage the community as well.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Oh, I lost it. No, I want the standing subcommittee list. Okay. Does everyone feel satisfied and we can move on to our next adventure? Excellent. So back to school committee assignments and liaisons. Okay. So there are, I can go, I think in years previous, we went through the list of what they are, and then we can divvy up assignments. All right, so we have a budget and audit subcommittee. We have a joint policy subcommittee. Have the superintendent's evaluation subcommittee. We have school equity advisory. We have the negotiating team for the APA, the negotiating team for ASME, APAA, UFCW, representatives to the Town of Amherst Budget Coordinating Group, regional warrant authorization, clerical merit award selection, delegate for the MASC, professional leave request subcommittee, collaborative representative, CPAC liaison, MPAC liaison, fiscal sustainability subcommittee, and then still listed on here as the investigative report subcommittee, but I thought we never really formally ended it. Okay. All right. So.
Sarah Beth, can you bring up that list? I can't.
Yeah,
It's in the
thank
line.
you.
Oh, well, there you go. Thank you.
Okay. What? We can just start from the top, yeah. I think I still have edit abilities, yes. All right, so previously, the Budget and Audit Subcommittee was myself, Sarah, and Tim. One of the things that came out of the retreat additionally was looking at our cost centers, which I think would be a great thing for our budget and audit subcommittee to work on together. So the other thing I had thought about with this was the way we have our joint policy subcommittee, which has representatives from each of our towns. As our budgets are built in the same way with the same cost centers represented, I am curious people's thoughts on, which we'll have to talk to the other committees because neither of the other two committees are called to order, about making this a joint budget and audit subcommittee, similar to the way the policy subcommittee is. It looks like a lot of thinking faces. Okay.
Well, can you say more about what you, I mean, so what would we gain?
So I suppose it would be more of a gain at the elementary level to also have say and clarity on how the cost centers and budgets and audits are, looked at, rather than just the region. But my thinking comes from a district-wide lens. Sarah, I saw your hand, Jennifer.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessary because the budget processes are separate, the audits are separate. I think the only joint item is this cost center question, and we can invite those chairs, as I did by email, to participate in that. But I don't see why we would need to expand the committee, because most of the work is not going to involve all three districts.
Fair. Jennifer?
I was gonna say that I think a joint subcommittee is a good idea, but I think Sarah just talked me out of it. So I think the cost center would be good to align the three committees, but yeah, I agree that the rest of the subcommittee work doesn't have to be joint.
Fair. Dr. Z?
So I actually feel like it's a good idea, either way the committee wants to go, but the elementary committees do need to consider if they're not going to have their own budget subcommittee meeting and having the conversation. Because in all honesty, this year, even with the audits and the conversation that I have been in, the audit feedback was given to the budget and audit subcommittee of the region, and we delved into those questions, but I didn't have the deep enough, and that's my bad, but I didn't have the deep enough questions, or even when we met, some of the questions to me, Sarah Marshall, you were able to ask and answer, and when we were presenting, we were able to speak from a different point of view, but at the time you were the chair of Amherst subcommittee as well. So it's like, to me, I think that there should be some level of representation from the administration standpoint where we can share the audit feedback and the budgetary concerns in the same way how the subcommittee comes forth, drives their questions, asks those cost center questions. What are some audit findings that we need to think about? So if it's not that it is joint, then Pelham and Amherst actually need to consider forming their own budget and audit subcommittee, because a lot of the things that you do, you may not have the same budgets, but your concerns and things move forward in a very similar vein. So that's my only thing.
I should have written it all down. Deb?
Yes, I think it should be joint. If not joint, it should be separate. They should have their own.
I'm with Jennifer and Sarah. I think there should be separate committees, and I think sometimes they can meet jointly when they discuss aligning cost centers. But, you know, the capital plan and the fees and the annual budget, those parts that are already built into that, the regional subcommittee do not really match that well with the Amherst one.
Bridget?
Well, I have a selfish reason, really, which is I'm on JCPC, if I remain on JCPC, and I'm on the Fiscal Sustainability Committee, and I feel like being part of those discussions, you know, would help me circle in better, but also would help those committees sort of like work more in the same direction or in alignment, and maybe be better informed. So, you know, as an Amherst rep, it's something I'd be willing to do if the committee wanted to see it done that way. But, in general, you know, I'm not looking for more committee work, but I just like us also to be as good with our communication as possible. I think that the more we do that, the better work we're doing.
Okay. So, it sounds like we should leave it as it is, and if the elementary committees should have their own discussion, and that there's potential for joint meetings of regional and elementary budget committees. Okay. That works for me. So currently, the people listed on there are myself, Sarah, and Tim. Any feelings about this, Tim?
We have not met as a subcommittee since I joined.
Okay.
I'm interested in staying on the subcommittee if you'll have me.
Okay. Sarah?
I'm happy to stay on.
All right. So, no change. I'm happy to stay there. All right. Next up, our regional. Yep.
I'm sorry, while we're going through this, can we identify and then put in the table who is the chair, if there's a chair? Because sometimes I want to contact the chair and I don't know who it is. Thank you. And I'm the chair of the
Yep.
budget and audit one, so, excuse me.
Okay. So currently our regional
It's a little different.
Yep. All right.
Say what?
So there's a delay in the update, sorry, because I know everyone's watching, but Sarah Beth is typing. We just have a delay because we're not her.
Yeah.
It's coming in afterwards.
Oh. So,
Oh, I see. Oh, I see, okay. Different membership.
okay.
The spreadsheet does not reflect, right, right.
Right.
Come on the box. Click update. There you go.
Okay.
I didn't tell my team.
So our regional representatives for our joint policy subcommittee are William and Anna. William, I would like to ask you to stay since you have
I would like to stay
a
on
lot
the
of
policy.
historical knowledge in there. Are you currently the chair?
We haven't never changed it, so I think so, yeah.
Did you read?
Hannah's the vice chair.
And Anna is the vice chair.
Y'all can correct it
Did
if
you
it's wrong.
revote?
We didn't really.
You didn't have to, okay.
Maybe-
He's
there
still
was-
on it.
there was- Yeah, no meetings had really, we maybe should actually vote for that, I'm not sure.
If you change it, we'll change
If
this.
it changes, you'll let me know and I'll update that. Okay, so Anna, you are interested in staying on this or no? Is there anyone else that has thoughts of liking to be on this? Deb, I can see your face.
I'm conflicted.
Okay.
I do not feel that, like I said, I get all tangled up in the words. I do not feel that it is my wheelhouse. But I do feel like I bring something sometimes that other people don't, and I don't really know how to represent that. So however the committee feels is fine with me.
Can we change to 3? Or not, for regional?
We can,
Or is that not meet codes?
I think technically it does meet code. Because it is still only 3 people from the region, and as long as at least one of the Amherst or the Pelham people are not also on the region, then we don't have a quorum of the region.
So can I make a motion to change that to 3 regional reps? 1 Pelham rep and 1 Amherst rep for the subcommittee?
Are you potentially making a motion,
No,
thinking of it?
Can
or
I
you're-
make a motion right now, or can I not?
I think you probably can.
Okay, so
but-
I would make
or
a motion.
It's a joint committee, so I feel like probably all 3 committees would have to be in session to make that.
We weren't all in session when the Pelham rep was revoted.
But revoted is different than
Redoing,
than
restructuring. the committee.
changing the whole subcommittee. So I
understand.
think if we would like to change the subcommittee, then all 3 would need to be part of it. Jennifer?
I mean, all 3 committees would need to vote in the affirmative in order for the change to take place, but I don't think we need to wait for a joint meeting if this body wants to discuss it and vote on it tonight. And then we can then ask Amherst
Ask
and
the
Pelham
other
to
committees?
put it on their agendas for their next meetings.
Okay.
So I make a motion for the regional school committee. I make a motion for the regional school committee to restructure the number of regional reps for the joint policy subcommittee and have 3 regional reps, maintaining 1 Pelham rep and 1 Amherst rep, and the superintendent's designee.
Second.
Bridget. All right, motion for the RSC to restructure the joint policy subcommittee to have 3 RSC reps, 1 Amherst rep, and 1 Pelham rep. Is that, and designee. Discussion. Jennifer.
I'm pondering this motion. It would make a committee heavily weighted towards the regional school committee, which could be a neutral thing, could be a good thing, it could be a positive thing, could be not be. I'm thinking about it. In terms of, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good reason for the region to have 3 times more members than Amherst or Pelham. Maybe there's a good reason. It's a bigger committee, but not 3 times bigger. It also just creates more slots that need to be filled by people who are already really busy. So like we have a whole bunch of subcommittees and only the 7 or 8 of us tonight. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I don't know, I'm thinking about it. And I in general don't think that like high-level structure things should be decided based on the specific circumstances that we're in. So I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure how I'm gonna vote yet.
Thank you. Sarah?
I'm also unsure about it because we seem to be doing it so that Deb can be at the table. And I value Deb's feedback, but any of us, I think, can attend the meeting and maybe at the beginning, I don't know, somehow offer comment or send comments after. So I don't know that any of us are precluded from contributing to the subcommittee meetings. We're certainly able to watch them or attend them. So, I don't know. I'm ambivalent.
Okay. William?
Maybe I could offer a friendly amendment of up to 3?
It's your motion, so.
Right, yeah.
Would you like to?
Do you accept?
Are,
Go ahead.
are any,
ahead,
are
Tim.
any of the subcommittees, like, aren't they all up to some number? I mean, if nobody, say if somebody decides if nobody on the RSC decides they want to, fill all 3 seats, the 3rd seat of the superintendent evaluation subcommittee, for example, is that, nullify that committee?
No, it's just up to.
Yeah.
Deb?
What is in my wheelhouse is numbers. So if you scale the subcommittee weightings the same way this committee is weighting, if it's 4 members, Amherst would be 2.2 reps. And if it's 5 members, it will be 2.7. So it's sort of within the structure that we currently have on the full committee either way.
You mean
Could-
You mean the region?
Amherst rep and not a regional rep?
So I didn't say that well either. So, proportionally speaking, 5 of us, 5 out of the 9 regional school committee members are Amherst School Committee. Oh, no, never mind. Wrong comparison.
Okay.
Scratch that.
So, I think I am leaning against this motion, because the subcommittee does like a subcommittee is designed to do with the background legwork, right? And then those suggestions come to the full committee. So everyone has their voice and their chance to speak to whatever policy is happening. So I think I am leaning towards no for this, how I will vote for this motion. Is there any further discussion before we come to a vote?
Sorry, did it have a second?
Yeah, Bridget.
Oh, okay.
Bridget?
I second it because I think that brings a valuable voice to the table. But I also think that structurally, having that many is something that is a little bit of concern because those numbers, even though you might be officially there representing a different committee or getting into quorum, like almost mini quorum, like almost there. But the other thing is, I've noticed one thing that I don't mind, but like conversations will happen in that subcommittee and then other people are sort of left out of them. So if it gets bigger, then that could only happen more, I think. And I like it better if you come back and fill us in. It's nice.
Okay. Deb?
I was about to say I'm going to vote no for the motion, and I would happily attend the meetings as a non-member, and now I'm not sure about that part of attending as a non-member. So, but I will vote no for the motion as well. But thank you, William.
All right. Jennifer, how do you vote?
No.
Anna? Deb?
No.
Sarah?
No.
Tim?
Whoop, whoop.
Oh, Bridget, you walked in and I forgot to write your name down. I'm so sorry. How do you vote, Bridget?
I'll vote no.
Yeah, Tim.
I'll abstain.
William?
I'll vote yes.
And Sarah Beth, I will vote no. So we are 1, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no. 1 abstain and 1 Absent, so the motion fails. Okay. So we have Dr. Z.
Well, I wanted to wait for you to be out of deliberation to ask this question. I know I'm supposed to either attend or designate someone, so I just want to clarify, would the committee want me to identify my designee in this, or do you want me to just identify it straight to the chairs of each person?
I think to the chairs.
Okay, thanks.
And especially for my feeling is, especially with the policy committee, like, you cover a lot of ground, and whoever's most,
It may change, right?
right, whatever is being looked at. Okay.
Thank you for that.
So the Superintendent Evaluation Subcommittee currently has Sarah Marshall, Anna Hurd, and William Scher. So I have been thinking about how our last round of evaluations went, which was a lot. And this committee has 3 on it. I would like to suggest we restack this committee, and I was wondering if Deb, you would be on it.
Sure.
Okay. I think,
I would be happy to step down.
I thought you might.
I would also step down as Deb gave me a solid on the joint policy, so.
So, Deb, I feel like we learned so much last year, right? Like, we're so much smarter, right, than we were last time. There are a lot of things we have figured out that did not work very well, and now we can find new ways to do things, right? So I would also like to be on this subcommittee. I think I'm gonna put my name down, and then one more. Tim. All right, there we go. That is gonna need fixing for structure, which I will take care of later. We will have to call a meeting and organize because there is no chair.
I would
Dr. Z?
I just want to ask why this isn't joint, especially since all 3 committees use the same superintendent evaluation tool. And so that's just my question. I'm asking.
I think that is a solid question. I think we should probably, yep, William?
I was just gonna say Anna has the most institutional knowledge of this process. Oh, no. So I would recommend that she stays. And I do like the idea that it's joint. I think that's an appropriate thing for this subcommittee.
Ooh, we're just gonna go this way, because I don't know whose hands, yep, start with Sarah and then go this way, because I don't know whose hand shot first.
Okay. My comment is, well, the joint committee makes a lot of sense, I think, when working with or establishing in conjunction with the superintendent, the goals. That it's mostly the goals that need the joint agreement and input. I think the evaluation part will then flow pretty readily from it. That's just my immediate thinking, but I'm not sure we've achieved clarity and unanimity about the interaction between this committee and the superintendent around goals. So I just put that out there. It's obviously you're evaluating the superintendent based on the goals. But we were also told that those start in the committee, maybe not with, or the committees and not with the superintendent, so. See, not total clarity, yeah.
Yeah. Deb? Wasn't your hand up
It
before?
was,
Okay.
yeah. I'm gonna disagree with Sarah, unfortunately. I think this year especially, the Amherst School Committee will have a very district-specific lens for the bringing online of the new elementary school building and redistricting and staffing and all of those things which this committee really just doesn't have to worry about. So I think, I think that the goals themselves may be very different, but the structure of the tool. So again, like, important parts should align well, but I think the goals themselves may not. That's all.
Okay, Jennifer?
I think the answer to the question, why isn't this a joint? I don't think there is a good answer to the question, why isn't this, a joint? I mean, this is just like, this is the way it's always been done, and no one's ever questioned it before, but I think it's a good, question and a good idea. I would suggest that it's the composition of the, if we decide to make it a joint subcommittee, that the composition would be the same as the joint policy subcommittee, 2 from the region, 1 from Amherst and 1 from Pelham. We would of course have to get Amherst and Pelham school committees to vote to approve that. And the Amherst school committee could appoint Deb to be the Amherst rep. And then Sarah Bass and Tim could stay the regional reps, and then Pelham can do what Pelham does.
Yep.
Did you mean the same composition and the same membership?
No, I did not mean the same membership.
Oh,
I said
okay.
I just meant the same structure.
Okay.
Boy. Yes.
So, and the reason I asked, and I agree with Deb that each committee may have different goals. And I think in my contract it says that I'm actually, there's a whole like epistle, but it says that I'm supposed to develop it and then develop it with the committee. Like it's supposed to be a joint effort. I think the part that comes in is that in the development of the tool in this past year, everybody used, and I had 1 goals for all 3 this year. But if we have the 3 committees are gonna have separate goals, I would like us to, I would like to walk away clear as the person being evaluated on what the indicators are. I like to on what the evidence is, and then those things need to. And we learned that in the retreat, right? And so I need to know what the expectation is around the evidence, what the expectation is around the indicators, and then bring it back forward. So, I mean, there might be some similarities, there might be some differences, but if we're gonna use a tool and the same indicators, then it would be great if we just sit in the room, develop them, and bring them back to the joint committees. And I just wanted to know why. We don't have to, but that was my way.
I think historically there's been like, oh, you should make sure someone from this committee is on it, but not
Not
like
okay.
official. I think this committee has worked really hard to make sure that each committee and district is well represented on the things we all do together. Bridget.
So I think in part, I'm just plus oneing something Dr. Z said, but Tracy said that the goals were linked to the evaluation and how we know what we know and how we know the goals have been met. And so in my experience with developing a tool around data, you want to think about what you're measuring and does the tool meet what you're seeking to measure as well. So I think that, yeah, the content of the goals might be different, the structure may be similar, but if you're thinking about it with 2 sets of like goals you have in mind, at the same time, it might be a more robust tool. So I support the idea of having it joint.
Okay. Tim, was your hand up? No.
No, but I think it's a very good idea
Okay.
to make this a joint subcommittee.
Okay. So, all right. Let's see. Yep, William?
Do we have to vote to make this a joint?
Yep.
So maybe I can move a successful motion?
Try.
I move to turn the superintendent evaluation subcommittee into a joint subcommittee and have 2 regional reps one Pelham rep and one Amherst rep.
Second, Jennifer.
Move to make the joint policy, joint superintendent evaluation subcommittee with 2 RSC representatives, 1 ASC representative, and 1 Pelham, and it was seconded by Jennifer. Perfect. Thank you. Sarah?
If that's the case, if we move that, then we have to take one of those names off. Because we can only appoint 2 for the region.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
True.
Just,
Okay. Is there any further discussion regarding the motion on the table? Okay. Jennifer, how do you vote?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Deb?
No.
Sarah?
yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
William?
Yes.
And Sarah Beth, yes. Okay, let's see. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yes, 1 no, and 1 absent. So, motion passes. So, we need to update. Okay. We'll just do this part so far. Okay. Yep.
I was just gonna say, I think it is the chair's prerogative to appoint people, right? For the 2, so you could just appoint 2 people,
I could. Yep. We do have the policy that says the chair can
and then
appoint.
Jennifer could appoint someone, and then Margaret could appoint someone.
Yes. This is true. Okay.
I'm sorry, is this just a lag, or is that going to say 2 instead of 3?
So,
I was gonna say 4.
No, but,
so I haven't written anything. That's why
oh, it was
nothing has changed.
highlighted. I thought it was changed. Okay.
So we do need Amherst and Pelham to vote to also change this subcommittee before it is officially official. So my thinking with keeping this correct was for the region to have its 2 representatives up there and then bring it back to the chairs of Amherst and Pelham for them to do as they will. Okay. Any takers for yep.
Or we could wait to see who Amherst and Pelham appoints so that we can be sure to have the representation that we are more comfortable. We could, you know what I mean? Like the region could decide, I don't know, it doesn't have to be this way, but the region could decide based on the composition of, based on who Amherst and Pelham, whether Amherst and Pelham.
Yeah.
How
Yes.
Amherst and Pelham fleshes out.
Exactly, thank you.
So, I'm hearing your suggestion, perhaps leaving it as it sits, and then the region can take it back up after Amherst and Pelham decide? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean,
After they
I would just suggest blanking out the RSC representatives because I would suggest waiting to determine the
Oh, just
RSC
holding
representatives
off.
until Amherst and Pelham decide. But you can put you can put the composition and just note that the region has voted, but Amherst and Pelham haven't.
Okay. Deb?
Whittling things down now. We're seeing joint amongst 3 committees.
Yes.
So I think then it would make sense to have 1 from each committee. And so 1 Amherst rep, 1 from each town, 1 Amherst rep, 1 Shutesbury rep, 1 Pelham rep, and one regional rep. You can't do that.
No, Shutesbury and Pelham,
Shutesbury and Perham do
Are
not
not-
share our lovely superintendent.
Shutesbury and Pelham.
Shutesbury and
they
Leverett.
don't-
Shutesbury
I
and
mean,
Leverett.
shoot.
Shutesbury and Leverett.
Right, because the region, yep, scratch that too.
Never mind, Pelham
I'm
super does share.
I'm- So, Pelham in the region, I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
all right.
I guess I'm not sure what problem we're trying to solve right
Yeah,
now.
that's a good question.
The problem is that the superintendent has,
No. What we're talking about, what problem are we trying to solve?
They're not trying to we're trying to
Populating
decide if
committee.
we're leaving the box empty or we're leaving the 3 names of the regional rep. I don't have a vote, but I would say,
I'm open to suggestions.
I would suggest, because this is the standing committee as is, just leaving it with the 3 names until we have the other 2 vote, and then we go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I see 2 possible placements from elementary committees as well, if we want to. And then they can come back to the region and say, hey, Sarah Best got placed from Pelham, so Deb and Tim, you represent the region, kind of thing.
Deb, is your hand up?
Yeah, just if it clears the other 2 committees, we don't have to bring it back to committee. It's just up to Sarah Best to decide who to appoint, so, yeah.
Okay. Tim, did you have a follow-up thought?
I was just going to say you could add a note to explain that we're waiting. Do you have to make the appointment in open session?
Yes.
Okay. So it would
I
have to
assume
be
so.
at a future meeting. Like, you can't just appoint
could announce
people.
I suppose I could just announce it, but
An
historically, we
announcement.
have done these things in open session.
Okay.
Okay, well, the question I did want to ask, I don't know if we're ready to move on from the matter of editing cell E5. It sounds like we may be good on E5. I'd like to talk about B5, which is the description of this committee. So it says develop evaluation guidelines, evaluation instrument, and timeline. But from the, there was some discussion earlier this evening about goals and co-development of goals with the superintendent. I don't know where this description comes from. It doesn't say anything about goals. And I'm just wondering if it should.
William?
I was just gonna say, historically, this subcommittee has never done anything with goals. Goals have been done directly with the superintendent and the whole regional school committee.
Okay.
And then Pelham School Committee and Amherst School Committee. We have never had any of the work done in this subcommittee.
Okay, so earlier when we were talking about goals in the discussion of this subcommittee, we can forget all that.
It's never happened before.
What were
That
we-
wasn't part of the subcommittee.
What
so-
were we talking about earlier?
It was,
then?
people did mention it, but I think it was a mistake.
I was wrong. I misinterpreted the role of the committee, so if I now were to revote, I would vote yes on making it a joint committee, now that I understand that the goals are entirely decoupled, or now that I realize, not understand. Sorry, my
Okay.
bad.
Okay. I'm going to leave this as it stands, and then we'll bring it back after the other elementary committees meet, and I will. Okay. Deb. Okay. Our school equity advisory committee. Yes, friends, with your hands immediately up.
I was just gonna say, I fell off due to conflict in, appointments that I had last year. So I was not active.
Okay.
I could still be active. I would be open to that, cause my commitments have changed
Okay.
this year. But I was not active most of the year last year. Bridget took over most of everything.
Yeah. Bridget, your hand was immediately up.
Well, very first thing is just in the description, either, like, if you allow me to edit it, or if I send you the language, I think it should just match what we voted on most recently.
That would be fabulous.
And because that looks like some really older language.
Yes.
And the second thing is, I think I have some skills and expertise that are suited to this committee, but I'm also not attached to it. If there's someone else who, you know, who would like to do it or feels better positioned, you know, please don't feel like you'd be stepping on my toes, because, you know, it's a hard job, and I'm happy to share it.
Maybe you could share it with Willie.
I think she wants to share it with someone that can show up every time.
Okay, so I would love, was so appreciative of all of the work and that you were able to bring it all back, and I felt like this, having you participate in this subcommittee was the first time in my experience that this information from this subcommittee was able to come back to the region, and we were able to really hear and see the work that has been happening. So I would love if you are willing to stay on there.
And we have a great structure now. I think it will go smoother
Yeah.
this year, so, I mean, I will stick with it.
Perfect.
If someone joins me.
I will join if no one else wants to.
All right, thank you. And you'll email me the correct language, and then once I get that, I'll just update this. Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, so the contracting team for the APEA, as we're still in negotiations and fingers crossed, very close to being done, I would like this committee to stay as it is. Okay. Jennifer, you are currently the AFSCME rep? Great, so
Sure.
perfect, okay.
Awesome.
And Anna, you are currently APAA?
Yeah, I think I might have missed a meeting. I really apologize.
It's okay. We just took the time to schedule, and we sent out the new dates for September so everyone can put it in.
Perfect, okay. And Sarah, you are currently UFCW?
Yes, but there's a new 3-year contract, so I wouldn't expect to have to meet.
Probably not, however.
But you can leave my name in that
Perfect,
box.
thank you. There are times when something comes up that they need a school committee
reconvene?
representative for something. So
Okay. it's
it's much easier if we already have a person ready to go for that.
Okay.
Okay. The budget coordinating group, regional representative. Last year, we talked about how it feels important for this to be a non-Amherst person. So it was Anna with me as a backup. I don't know how often they meet besides what is listed on here, twice.
That's what they did last year.
Okay. Yeah. So, looking at Anna, Tim, William, and myself, any takers? Tim? Are you Tim and then Anna back up?
I mean, I've actually never attended, so, Tim, you're already on the Budget and Audit Committee?
Yes.
Does it make sense for the same person to be on both?
I would say it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So we're looking for one person and one backup. So, Deb?
Somebody once described Anna as a little spicy, and that is a good person to have in that committee.
I also feel the same way.
I'm happy to stay as the rep, and I would happily have Tim as my backup,
Perfect.
if that's, if you would like that.
How about,
And I'm sure that if Tim wants to come to the meeting anyway,
they're public.
you can just Yeah, they're public meetings. Gotta get Shutesbury in there. No, just kidding.
All right. Like I said, I will fix the weird formatting that is happening. Regional warrant authorization, currently it is William and Deb as backup. Are we
I'm happy to
content
continue
stay?
doing it, but
We have-
whatever.
Okay, perfect.
Deb,
The-
are you still willing to be my backup? Okay.
Perfect.
Got your back.
Yep. Clerical merit award selection, Jennifer?
This is the very best subcommittee assignment. But I know for a fact I won't be here to do it next May because I'm not running for reelection. So it's awesome, and someone else should get that assignment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the description mentions, Debbie, you could
Oh.
just say meet with human resources.
Oh, I was going to say, none of the Amherst members know for sure if they'll be back, so.
I'll gladly
I
do it
mean,
if no
you
one
know
else
you
will.
won't,
right.
and none
If
of
it's
us
as
know
good as
that we
Jennifer
will.
said.
You deserve it.
All right, William, meet with HR and
One morning in May, I can do that.
all right. Last year, our regional representative to the MASC was William. Do you plan on
I'm
attending
Not
this year?
attending this year. I have not registered yet. So if someone, I mean, in full disclosure, I paid for my own self to go anyway, but I did go as a representative, but I paid my way. I don't plan on going this year. So if someone else wants to go and be the rep, I think that's fine.
Any takers?
Is anyone going this year?
Anyone planning on going to Hyannis in November?
I would say that's to have to pay for it ourselves is, makes it a less appealing.
Well, I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying I paid for it
Yeah,
myself.
but
There-
I-
People came to me with questions.
I know,
that's why.
but I
Just-
inquired last year about what funds were even available for this, and I don't think they were adequate to, so, maybe, yeah.
If we identify someone and we put it in ahead of time, I think we can figure it out. Because I know there is a line item for, under the school committee for training and stuff. I just need to figure out what that budget is in that line item.
Any takers for potentially?
If no one wants to go, I don't mind being on there, but if someone else, Deb, are you gonna go?
Oh, no, I'm
Oh,
the Amherst rep, and I'm not going to go for the same reason. It's like $500. It's a,
Plus the lot.
it's more
It's
than
a-
that.
plus the lodging at a
Yeah.
Yeah.
undesirable hotel. It is.
In November.
It is seedy. I mean, it's just like
Wait,
you.
we should not say that.
Okay.
Go ahead and sell it, Deb.
All right.
I would consider going if I didn't have to pay for it myself, and maybe I could stay at a different hotel.
Jennifer?
Well, I went in 2022, and it was covered by the district. So I think that we should appoint someone, and then if it can be covered by the district, then that person can go, and if it can't. But we should still appoint someone, not based on whether or not the travel will be covered.
Right, and it's actually the joint MASC and MASS. So I was actually thinking that I would attend because a lot of the superintendents talked about how it was a great opportunity. So I will look into it with the finance team and whoever is appointed, I'll contact
Yep.
them.
Yeah, I went last year also and paid for it
Yeah.
myself, but,
Oh, you did?
The two
Yep.
of us went.
yep,
We had a good time.
we did. So I don't mind potentially going again. I will write my own, oh,
Does anyone know the date? I mean,
No.
we have an election in November.
November
that's
12th to the 14th.
After, okay.
all right. If it changes, we can change it. All right, this is the chair of the committee. Representatives to the collective.
The
It was-
collaborative?
Yes.
So, but I'm sorry, who is the, oh, Sarah Bess, you're going to be the masked delegate.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, I missed that.
Bridget?
So this hasn't been updated, but both William and I had pulled back from it because CX meets on the same night and wasn't able to meet on any other night. So
Right.
basically, they both are on the last Wednesday of the month and firmly so,
So,
Yeah.
no good for you. Deb?
We actually switched. I'm actually technically the representative at some point, because we
Oh, yeah?
switched the collaborative with the BCG and didn't update the document.
So Deb, would you
So-
like to be the collaborative representative? Yep, excellent.
Yes.
You get a free sandwich if you want one, if you go in person,
All right,
or a salad.
Or salad?
the CPAC liaison, for the region was listed as William.
And they're like virtual meetings, so I'm fine
Continue.
with that. Or if someone else wants it, they can have it too.
Sarah?
So I'm the Amherst rep, and assuming I continue as that, I'm happy to do both. I feel like I was able to attend more often than William, but maybe I just didn't see his name in the little box. So I just offer that if you would like to give that up.
Okay. Deb?
I would be happy to represent the region for CPAC also.
Okay, well, that is a lot of takers. You're stepping back.
I will step back for, if
Oh,
Deb wants to
All right,
Well,
do
you
that for
can-
the region.
I'm
how
sorry.
about,
Oh, no,
if-
I'm fine with not doing it.
Deb,
I have
will you
no
be
issue.
CPAC for the region?
Yes.
And then Sarah can be for Amherst, and then you feel free to share all of your information. All right.
Report.
Oh my gosh. All right, MPAC liaison was Jennifer.
Yes, they also meet virtually in the evenings. I admit I didn't attend many of the meetings, but I'm happy to recommit to doing that if no one else wants to.
Sold. All right. So the investigative reports subcommittee, I actually think we should vote to end this committee. So,
I move that we discontinue the investigative reports subcommittee.
Second.
was that you, William?
It was.
Any further discussion? Jennifer,
Yes.
Anna,
Yes.
Deb,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes?
Bridget,
yes.
Tim,
Yes.
William,
Yes.
and Sarah Vess, yes. It is unanimous. All right. All right, and our fiscal sustainability subcommittee says up to 4. We currently have Jennifer, Deb, and Bridget, but they had been in touch with me that this committee makeup was looking to change. So can you please remind me who would like to be on this subcommittee?
Anna's been coming and joining us. And just for, like, as a member of the public, but we'd love to have her officially. And I'm not sure if Jennifer wants to remain.
She does not.
All right, so Anna, Deb, and Bridget. Perfect.
It says up to 4. Any other takers?
Anna, heard. Okay, do you have a chair?
Did you
Oh,
want to say
Sarah?
I just want, when you're done with this one, a question.
Okay.
Tim had his hand up.
Still, do you have a chair? You are the chair. Thank you.
Who is the chair?
Deb.
Deb, okay.
Okay.
Tim had his hand up.
Oh, you had your hand up, Tip.
Can I join this subcommittee?
Yes. What? Go ahead, Deb.
When we first formed this subcommittee, it was deliberately set apart from the Budget and Audit Subcommittee. And I think that structure is working. Well, it's working for the FSS. Just saying.
So,
So does
Go
that
ahead,
mean
Sarah.
I'm ineligible for this subcommittee?
No, it's just historical context as to why serving on both subcommittees might not be a good idea.
What is the value of the
I-
sort of, keeping the two separate?
I wasn't part of that discussion.
I think our discussion was about not anyone having dire amounts of work. And so it could be, money in versus money out. But I think we have come to a good place where we are, like, I see no reason why it would be a problem to have Tim join it, especially if he's on the budget and audit subcommittee. All right. Oh, look at that is terrible. Okay. I will fix all of that. All right, Sarah, you had your hand up.
Yeah, did you want to add I don't know, we're calling it the protocols subcommittee, ad hoc committee?
Yep.
Just to memorialize that. I already forget who's on it besides me. I think you, but I don't remember who else.
All right, so it is. All right. Okay, that is it. I will fix all of the structure looking of this, so it is pretty again. Not now, later. Okay, thank you all very much. That was a lot. All right, so we do have on here our school committee goals for our school year school year 25-26, where my thinking on having this as an agenda item is about making sure the school committee is sitting where the school committee needs to sit. So we have our goals, which then, as the school committee, drives the goals for the rest of the district, right? So our school committee goals then help set the superintendent goals, which then help set the teacher and staff goals, which is all in the name of student success, right? So that is my thinking about having this as a conversation. I believe it is a policy that I thought it was.
Policy AD.
No, I know. So it's policy AD
Yeah,
that has
policy
our.
AD and ADA is what you posted.
Yes. Those are our mission statements and the broad educational goals that are listed in there currently. I did think there was another policy in there that talked about setting school committee goals in the spring for the following year, but because we didn't do that in the spring to move, so we can talk about it now. Yep. Jennifer.
I'm fuzzy on the concept of school committee goals. I hear what you said, Sarah Beth, that the school committee should have high-level goals that then feed the superintendent's goals, that feed the goals of her staff leadership team. But the school committee's goals should be things that the school committee can accomplish and achieve. And the things that we do are like superintendent evaluation, setting policies, approving the budget. So I'm fuzzy on how we would have goals that would then feed the superintendent's performance goals. I think it makes sense for us to have goals as a committee, like we want to make sure we have or pass a policy on XYZ topic. We want to have a budget process that's transparent. Just waiting. It makes sense for us to have goals that are things we can do. But I don't, and we can certainly do that, but I'm fuzzy on the idea that our goals would then feed the superintendent's goals.
Fair. Anna?
So I think there's a difference between goals and indicators. And I think the school committee goals should be about improving education in the district. And the indicators can be aligned with what the school committee needs to do to ensure that that happens. And so I do think that the idea behind the school committee setting goals that then affect the superintendent goals would be something like improving or increasing the number of students that pass the MCAS at different, or meet or exceed expectations on the MCAS at each grade level. It could be something like improving the climate among teachers and or educators in the district. It could be improving the communication between the district and the community, things like that. And then the indicators of that would be, has the school committee set appropriate policies? Has the school committee evaluated the superintendent on time? Has the school committee, whatever. So I think that the sort of the motivation of having school committee goals that affect the superintendent goals is sort of along those lines.
Yes, thank you. Dr. Z?
So in policy BBA, which establishes the school committee's powers and duties, it actually says, according to Chapter 71, Section 37 and 59 of the Massachusetts General Law, the school committee, and if you go down, the last bullet says, shall establish educational goals and policies for the schools in the district consistent with the requirements of law, statewide goals, and standards established by the Board of Education. So it aligns with what Anna is saying. In actuality, if it may not be the school committee's goals, one of the things Tracy said is that you actually have to set the goals of the district. What do you expect the district to achieve? What do you expect the district to look like as a school committee? From that, then the superintendent I would create my goals with the committees in how I would achieve the overarching district goals that you would have, and then it would trickle down to everyone else. So I think that one, school committee goals also would help drive, because the conversation is there. There is a policy in place, it hasn't been, was adopted in 2008, but it's based on a law that says that it is in your duty to establish the educational goals and policies for the schools in the district. And so that would tie to what Tracy said, like I said, the district goals, and then we go from there.
William?
I was going to say, we have policy, I was going to comment the policy she talked about, anyway, she already talked about it, so +1 to that. And I apologize to you, I was showing her the +1 to that, anyway. We do have policy ADA, which is the broad educational goals, I think, from the school committee. They were updated in 1983. So we have not looked at that as a policy. I would be happy to look at that as policy, or we could have the discussion now. But I think that is, the policy ADA, I think, is what you're asking for, is for us to
Yeah.
work on.
Okay, I have Jennifer, Sarah, Deb, and Bridget.
I understand it better if I think of it as district goals. That makes more sense to me than school committee goals. Thank you.
Sarah?
Yes, but school committees can also have their own goals for their own improvement. And I feel like our retreat last week was the big start on that, and we're going to be developing protocols, and hopefully that that makes us even better. So for internal goals, maybe we're on the case. But I do agree, it's long past time for us to review the educational goals for the district. And I know that that is a policy, but that is the educational goals are so fundamental to what we're here to do that I would suggest that be a committee-wide discussion, which could be very big and sprawling. I don't know, I'm just thinking about it now, how we can focus it. I also think that if we want to have the superintendent's goals set like in October, then we got to jump on this, right? And have a schedule for, maybe as we review the educational goals, district goals, whatever we call them, there are short-term ones and there are longer-term ones.
Deb?
Continuing the theme of me getting all tangled up in this. So there's 9 goals for the mission statement and the mission statement. And then there's 10 goals in the broad educational goal. And some of them are for the region and some of them are for not. So when the policy subcommittee comes back with these, it would be helpful to figure out how these piece together and whether or not there's like a way of having fewer than 14 goals. Or 19 goals. I always think in terms of if you can't say it off the top of your head, then it's too complicated. Yeah. That would be my request.
Bridget?
That's the one did it out.
This seems like a big project. I think that this is not something that we want to sit here and off the top of
Oh,
our head
no.
come up with, right? We want to look at the reports, we want to look at the data we've had from this past school year, we want to look at our trends and where we want to go. We want to consider not just to bring SEAC into the picture, but like that kind of thing. And really be thinking about, okay, where are we successful as a district and want to get stronger? Where are we less and want to get stronger as well? Like, we really, I mean, setting goals, you need sort of a 360. So I mean, I don't, that's a subcommittee I would enjoy, but I have enough. But like, it's a big job. I can see why they haven't done it since 1993.
83.
83,
Yeah.
oh geez.
I wasn't intending for us to set goals today.
Okay.
That was not my intent. My intent was to bring it forward to be able to have this discussion. Okay. Deb, and then I would like us to move on to our next, and we can decide how to move forward from here.
So listening to what everybody is saying, is it feasible to do in time to set the superintendent goals by October, or do we just make this as part of our work this year?
Are you asking me specifically? I think
yes.
it would be great if we could do it this year. I think in reality, probably not. I think it's probably why it's in, I found it, I'm pretty sure I found it in one of the policies that says you're supposed to set school committee goals in the spring, right? So perhaps we can do the work this year, so in the spring, we can set our goals for the following year, right? We have a bunch of homework to do. A follow-up, Deb?
Yeah, so maybe then the policy committee could just prioritize a couple.
Really
William?
quick.
Yeah.
So under MASC, how they tell you what our jobs are, it says performance standards school committee. It says conduct self-evaluation of the committee's effectiveness in meeting its stated goals and performing its role in the public school governance. So I think, I mean, I think policy needs to look at what our goals are for the district. But I also think there's some confusion as we don't have goals for ourselves. And I do think we're supposed to have goals for ourselves because we're supposed to self-evaluate ourselves. And we can't evaluate ourselves if we don't have goals. So I think there's a two-pronged thing here. I think it's one, goals for us as a committee, so we can self-evaluate, which we've never done before that I'm aware of. And two, we're talking now about goals for the district, which I think is separate. It's two separate buckets of goals.
I think maybe we can have the policy subcommittee work on it and possibly the protocol subcommittee also do some thinking about this. And we can bring in this conversation back when policy and subcommittee and policy and protocol have each had a chance to meet and like dive in a little deeper. I wanted to start the conversation after all of the work we've done to, you know, part of our tighten up. Sarah.
I think I'm the one who mentioned the goals, superintendent's goals that are set in the fall. But I think, at least I have the understanding, that the goals that were set last year, we recognize that those, in fact, take multiple years to achieve. So perhaps the goals aren't going to change a lot because we hope for continued progress in those things. I don't know. So Dr. Z has thoughts.
I always have thoughts. I didn't want to bring him forward this time. I actually think after sitting through the process, I would actually like to follow the process as written. And I know everyone is saying the fall and we're being gracious for the fall, but in actuality, my goals were supposed to be created 60 days before the start of the fiscal year. So we're actually behind. But I actually feel like after going through the first process, my thought would be, I think I need to hear where each committee really wants to see their district go educationally, what's the goals for the districts, and then go from there. Because I think everyone had their own mindset and work from that evidence-based lens that we were informed about and go from there. If some of them need to stay, they can, but I think there should be the opportunity to sit and review based on what was there, because that's my suggestion.
All right. Thank you. All right. So we have our first go round at a consent agenda. Oh, all right. So I will move to approve the minutes of the regional school committee in open session on June 19th.
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to call a point of order because I thought you were going to move to approve the consent agenda.
Right, yes.
When you have a consent agenda, you say, I move to approve the consent agenda, and then there's one vote, and everyone votes on that one motion, and that covers all of the things in the consent agenda.
Great.
But-
I thought you were just listing what's in the consent agenda, which is.
Well, they're
Okay.
all attached in there.
Okay, but I was going to
Yes.
call a point of order and ask that the minutes be removed from the consent agenda for tonight. Because allow me to explain. If you're going to vote, if you're going to approve everything on the consent agenda, if you're going to vote yes or no, if you're going to vote the same for everything on the consent agenda, then you as an individual member are fine leaving it in the consent agenda. But if there's something in the consent agenda that you want to discuss or that you will vote differently from other things, then any member can ask that an item be removed from the consent agenda, and then I think it just gets removed. You don't have to vote on it. And, yeah. I want to say, in general, I'm fine with having minutes in the consent agenda. In this case, there are a lot of them, and some of them I'm going to vote differently on, so that's why I'm asking to have the minutes removed from the consent agenda.
Okay. They are the only thing in there. So.
Oh.
We can do them individually this time, and next time when we don't have 8 of them, or
Second, I think there's a motion. I'm not. No, you have, didn't you just make a motion?
I did not. You don't have to make a motion to remove something from the consent agenda.
Oh, I
It
see,
just
I
gets removed.
apologize.
okay, so let's go week by week. All right, I will move to approve the minutes of June 17th.
Second, Jennifer.
Any discussion? Jennifer?
I think we can just raise our hands.
Oh, we can.
What?
We should have
can
been doing
just
that
raise
the
our
whole
hands.
time. Oh, I apologize. All right, all those in favor of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Bridget's,
No.
It's 7.
must be 7.
Oh, we're 7. 7, 2. I will move to approve the minutes of June 18th.
I second.
All those in favor? Excellent. I move to approve all the minutes of June 24th.
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? All right. 6, 0, 1, 2. I move to approve the minutes of June 30th.
I second.
All those in favor?
Shouldn't you ask for discussion if there isn't?
Do we need to, I mean, everyone voted in favor. We can ask for discussion on the next one.
Well, presumably Jennifer will have something to say about one of them.
You don't have to speak for me, Sarah.
Okay.
2. Thank you. I move to approve the minutes of July 2nd. Is there a second?
I second.
July,
Shoot, point of order,
22nd?
July 22nd.
Oh, thank you. July 22nd.
I second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Perfect.
29th, that's correct, it's 29th.
9. Oh, doing weird math. I move to approve the minutes of July 29th.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? I move to approve the minutes of August 6th.
I second.
I have a question.
Yep.
First of all, thank you, Tim, for doing all these excellent minutes. Under other attendees, you mentioned a paraeducator and Ms. Monroe, and I don't think they spoke at the meeting. If they did, I don't recall. I don't think we need to have people listed as attendees who are just in the audience. So I would make an amendment to edit their names out of other attendees.
Can you say the names again?
It's Katie Pacheco, paraeducator, and Victoria Monroe, and this is August 6th.
So members of the audience.
And they're just listed under other attendees, along with Dr. Z, Megan, Margaret, and Jenny.
Okay,
I don't think they spoke at the meeting, so.
all right. Right, so you're moving to,
Just remove them from
Yeah.
the list of other attendees. I mean, unless they spoke, I don't think they did. If they're just in the audience, they happen to be school staff, I don't think they need to be mentioned in the minutes. It's not a big
So-
deal, but.
I second.
All right, so to all those in favor of approving the minutes as amended? There we are. All those opposed? All those abstaining? All right, we are, what's the next date?
August 20th.
August 20th. I move to approve the minutes of August 20th.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Excellent. Again, Tim, thank you so much for all of these.
You're welcome.
All right. We have no reports, no warrants, no gifts. Our future agenda planning. So I was able to add the graphic, I guess, I made of the annual agenda and was able to add it in here as a point of reference for us. Someone did ask me what there are a few, like, for example, in October, there's a superintendent presentation of the school system, CM. CM is the policy that dictates that. The same with IIB underneath there. Okay. Are there any future agenda requests? Yep,
I had a couple. I have to find it, sorry.
you can also email it to me, Anna.
This is a weird request, but could we get a presentation on the school lunch menus?
Can you be specific as to what you would like to learn about the school lunch menus, please?
So, following up on last year's comment about a lack of vegetarian options in the high school, just to see what the vegetarian options are for any given day or week or month. And then I think there has been some comments from the community about incorporating more local and less processed foods into the menus, and just sort of get a feeling on how much ultra-processed food is actually in the menu.
Okay. I would like to let, yesterday at our, was it yesterday? Okay, thank you, guys. It's only day 2 of the week, but it feels like a long week. At our first day event, our new food services manager, Corey, I saw the menu, so I know there's some new vegan and options. For example, like chickpea gyros and different things. So the team and I have already planned out our calendar. And one of the things that I took away from the retreat was that I asked him if at some point in the year we can do a taste of school lunch kind of thing, where we invite the community in and just educate them, answer those questions. So definitely want you to know that that's on coming forward, and thank you for the specifics.
All right, anything future? I
Doesn't
do
have
want
to
to
be
make sure that
immediate.
while we are having our future agenda planning, we are not actually discussing the items. Deb?
Can we have an update on the status of the middle school roof
I was going to ask for that.
and implementation of policy ACAA, the new one, the one we just voted, and then just not as an agenda item, but maybe attached, just the employee handbook, because you said you've updated that as well.
William?
I was gonna say the +1 to the staff handbook, but also the student handbook. And then, I guess how the bullying investigative, I can't
Brim?
think. Brim, I guess, but I don't know if it's actually Brim, the policy, but how that's being proceduralized this year?
How it's being what? Sorry?
Proceduralized this year, because I think there was some differences of, anyway, so how
Okay.
it's proceduralized.
Sarah?
I also wanted to put the middle school roof on, and I'm not just +1ing it, because my, besides wanting to know where that's at, I want us to know or discuss or have a chance to consider what may be, if we may be limiting our use of the middle school or non-use of the middle school if we proceed with roof repairs. That is, there was some discussion a year or more ago about possibly moving the middle school to the high school. So I don't want us to make any decisions about the middle school without being aware of the
Okay.
consequences. Yeah.
Anything further? Excellent. If anything comes up, feel free to email me. All right. I will now move that the Amherst Pelham Regional School Committee now consider entering executive session pursuant to MGLC 30A, Section 21A, Purpose 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation, T. Cabrera, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares, and I do declare, with no intent to return to open session.
Second, Jennifer.
I think we actually have to individually vote. Jennifer, how do you vote?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
William?
Yes.
And Sarah Beth? Yes. We are in executive session. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
I do not want that math.